Test 1, 2. Okay. We're going to get started here in a minute or two. There's some empty chairs here. They're going to bring a couple more chairs in as well. So if you need a chair, grab it. If not, there'll be one here shortly. So yeah, grab a seat if you want one. And some more chairs coming soon. There's two up here, a couple over there, one here, a couple in the back. Yeah. Wow. Wow, thank you all for coming. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna just quiet down and get in the zone here a little bit. Yeah. Thank you all for coming. I mean, it's an amazing community we have here, and I know everybody's like, oh, it's just so cool to have so many people in the same place. And Ken's looking down upon us, so thank you. It means a lot to Kenny, and it means a lot to everybody that knew him and that he loved, and that you all love him as well here too. So to see the community here come together it's a beautiful thing. Especially for this occasion. So yeah, I see Kenny looking down. There's a couple more chairs coming in the back. Kenny was quiet, smiling giant in the bass, gentle soul, but he was fierce when he got behind the bass. And he was soft-hearted and loving, but at the same time, he was no shit, and he was funny, and always easygoing, and always himself. So we're all going to miss Kenny, and that's why we're here today, to kind of pay respect to him. Just a little bit about where Kenny came from Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas, growing up in the 60s. And I was reading through these letters that Barb gave me from his classmates in grade school and in high school and in the college, and it was super moving because they all said the same thing, and there were a lot of them, and they all said such great things about Kenny. And he started on the tuba in grade school, and then moved to the cello for a little while, and then to the bass. And they said he practiced his butt off all the way back then. That was one of the themes, and then he was also the Ken we know all the way back then. They even called him Ken Man back in high school, which survived the trip from Arkansas to Denver. But he grew up in a time and a place that wasn't easy. Little Rock in the 60s. He went to a school originally that was so poor they didn't even have bathrooms. He had to go to the outhouse. So he got out of there and went to a Catholic school. And so this was integration was in effect, but it was not really working at that time. And I think that was really a reality for him that was tough in those days. And he felt it firsthand. From the time he played tuba up until he graduated from the Arkansas School of Technical Arts, he was just a jazz beast, his friends had all said back there. And they remember him practicing till he had calluses, a consummate pro since he was a teenager. And he learned to take life in stride, likely because of everything he had gone through in Arkansas. And that's just a part of him. He was out there, and then he thought about Denver, and he made a foray into New York playing with Benny Golson. And I think he made a big impact in New York in the short time he was just there. So I know that a lot of the bass players came up and were checking him out, and they were like, who is this cat? But alas, New York wasn't for Kenny, or Kenny wasn't for New York. So he moved on to our luck. He came to Denver, and he mentored with some of the greats here. We see these great pictures of Ken with the jazz mentors, the people that have gone before us. There's a lot of history in those pictures up there. I won't name all the people he played with, but they're up there for you to look at. But he really cut his wood. He really shed up with his gig at the Chapultepec, 6 or 7 nights a week. Kenny for a decade plus. I can't remember how long it playing with all kinds of people, international, national artists that would come in, the Houston Persips, the Eddie Harrises, the list goes on, and you'll see a lot of those pictures up there. And that was Ken, always taking his playing so seriously, but then always kind of smiling. He had that way he could smile and then just be so fierce behind the bass. So he mentored with so many at the Peck, and he touched so many of our lives with his playing. All the crazy gigs and all the crazy stories that we have about Ken and Ken's gigs. I know a lot of them are starting to surface here as everyone kind of socialized and remembered Kenny, the Kenny that we know. So he was played so many different gigs with so many different people, and then right here we are in the Lamont School where he taught for many, many years. He mentored students, and so he shared his gift as a faculty member here, mentoring a whole new generation of jazz students, some of which are here, some of which have gone on to make major impacts in jazz. But one thing about Ken, he didn't need the spotlight or the ego. He just knew. He knew himself. He knew who he was, and he never questioned it, and there was just this solid, presence that Ken had, and it was in his playing. It was in his playing, too. I met Ken when I came to Colorado in '91 from New York City, and we played a gig for 16 years every Sunday night. Rich Charlucci and Nat Yarbrough was in there a little bit at the end, every Sunday, and it was beautiful. And but I really enjoyed playing his Ken Walker Sextet Band. That was really moving for me to just see his presence as a band leader and the music he would bring and the magic he would bring to the stage. I even did a couple mini tours with him and Bob Montgomery and Al Urban. Went to Australia twice, and that was fun. But my favorite memories, no matter where the gig was, Kenny would always bring his fishing pole, which is on the shrine over here we have. So you'd see Kenny fishing before the gig or after the gig, or, sometimes on the break up in Estes Park, there's a little river there. Where's Ken? We got to start, man. Where is that cat? It's his band. He's like bringing in a little trout or something. Yeah, that was Ken. I want to give a shout out to Barb, Ken's wife. She's a wonderful musician herself, and was there for Ken just as he was there for her. The connection was truly meant to be. Barbara's here. She'll talk in a little bit, but we have so much for love and respect for you, Barb. So thank you for everything. Okay, that's a little bit about Ken, and now Barb asked me to say something, and I was like going for a walk yesterday, and I'm like, okay, what can I say? And I was just thinking a little bit about the elements of Ken. So we created we created a Ken shrine here with his bass that Eric was so nice to bring, his fishing pole. We got some pictures and some flowers of him. So you can kind of feel the vibrations of Ken coming off the Ken Vibe Altar. So that's where we kind of bring in that spirit of Ken. So when Kenny passed, Barb gave me something I had never heard of before, but it was, Barb did a water cremation. So Ken's body was turned into water. So Ken is also here, Kenny Walker, February 12th, 2026. This is Ken's body here with us too. So when you kind of think about ashes to ashes, dust to dust, the finality though we know he kind of lives on. That's there on the shrine too. So, yeah, Kenny was a man of many elements. There's 4 elements I kind of associate, kind of in this way. Ken was fire, that was his playing, the swing, the heat, the unstoppable force of Ken Walker. Kenny's fire. Kenny was air, his full sound traveling through the room in waves, expanding through space. Air. Kenny was, oh man, to me he was most of all earth. Fire, air, earth. He was the most grounded player I knew. He was the fundamental ohm of the universe. Kenny was grounded, he was swinging, and that was his presence, that's who he was. Blues, swinging hard. Fire, air, earth, and then water, the final element. Kenny, he could shape his music into anything. A shapeshifter, he could do swing, he could do funk, blues, Latin, backing up the greats, playing at the Peck, playing at Telluride Jazz Festival, playing here in Lamont with a school combo. That was Ken, the shapeshifter, grounded in the earth. So I can feel Kenny, I hope you can too. And so now we're going to do this little ritual that Barbara's going to help me with. We're going to actually take Ken's water here, the ashes to ashes, earth to earth. This is Ken's water to earth. We're going to pour his cremated water onto the plant, and just as kind of this transition of him, and that's what we're going to do. So Barbara, you can help me, but we're going to kind of bring everyone into it because we're going to give a low kind of vibration here, like the Ken vibration. So I want you all to just hum. Let me hear a hum. It doesn't have to be in tune. Just don't think about it. This is Ken. You're getting with the Ken fundamental frequency. It doesn't have to be anything. So you do that. Hold that presence for us. And we're going to do this. Hear you a little bit more. Let me hear a little more Ken vibe here so we can really bring it in here. Okay. You are the congregation, you are the choir, you are the Tibetan monks, you are Denver jazz community, you are Ken's people who he loved and you loved him. Body. So complete this ceremony with just saying that Ken, you are the ground. Ken, you are home. You are the swing. And you are home, and we all love you.
play behind me too. Yeah, that was wonderful. Thanks, Dave. Yeah, thank you for coming. Does anybody need a chair? Because we can get more in here. And there's a couple up here. Good. And there's some people out in the hall that'll bring you more chairs. Anyway, thank you. Yeah, it's just so amazing to see that you're all here because you loved Kenny and he touched you in many ways. And yeah, I'm just delighted to see you. And so many people stepped in at the last second and really helped me with a lot of details, which you could tell at the beginning they were not all taken care of, but it's how things kind of are. But thank you. I won't give personal shout out, but I probably should, but I'll forget somebody. But there were like a half a dozen people, that really stepped up when I was ready to pull my hair out. So I appreciate everything. Jill once told me that the thing about Kenny is he was always in his own skin, and I was like, yeah, and I told him that, and he looked sort of confused, and he goes, "Where else would I be?" Like, he didn't even get the concept, But that's part of what was so endearing about him, that and his amazing smile. Like, he was always present, Even in the last few weeks, like, we had a hospital bed in the house, and he was getting weaker and weaker. He had decided to go off dialysis, and I wasn't going to go here right now, but it was really tough for him to get up and do the 10 steps to the bathroom, and he wouldn't use the walker, and so every day was just kind of freaky for me, because he was, sometimes collapsing on the floor, and there's a lot of times that different people were at the house that helped me with him. But there was one time he was leaning on the cane and leaning on me, and we were making those few steps, and he was sort of like, like Dick Van Dyke, just totally, wobbly. And I'm like, "Kenny, what are you doing? Stand up." And he started laughing. He was just like messing with me, and I'm like freaking out, yeah. But he had that really lovely sense of humor, and a lot of the Arkansas people mentioned that. Like, he was goofing around with them way back, I mean, this is 50 years ago that he was in Arkansas, and if you read the posters, and they're listening right now, I don't know where that's happening, but anyway, they're watching us right now, and so I encourage you to look at the posters, and also we'll be reading a few of their comments and memories, but I guess he was quite a crack up back then. But he was always making me chuckle, like, even, when he was pretty sick, and he was mostly just laying on the sofa, but I'd come into the room and he'd go, "Oh no, you again." Or, "Now what do you want?" It was always that kind of thing. So it was very easy to be with him, to live with him. We never had an argument, which I've never experienced that ever in my life. He didn't get angry, and he didn't get frustrated. If we were putting together a little table that has, the screw holes, but they're not big enough, and you got it all together, and then one corner falls apart, and like, I'd be ready to throw something at a wall, and everybody else I've ever known would be like cussing, and Kenny never said a cuss word, But I would look up, and he had that smile on his face, and I'd be, "Oh my God," yeah, I guess it is kind of funny, I mean, most people would be like, "Rah!" But he just somehow, he just went there. What's that?
He found the humor in it.
Yeah, he's found the humor in a lot of stuff. He didn't waste time with feeling yucky or talking bad about people or any of that, yeah, he just really, music was, that was the thing he poured himself into. And it's really the thing that saved him because, like Dave was saying, in Arkansas, I think in first grade, it was like 56 plus 6 years would be 62. And they're in the all-black school, separate but equal, there was no plumbing. It was an outhouse. And he would walk home to use the bathroom. And when I first heard that, I was like, well, I was in school then. I've never heard of such a thing, And then then the next year his mother was working 2 jobs so she could pay for them to go to the all-black Catholic school, like Dave mentioned. And then after that, in 4th grade, integration kind of kicked in. And the bad thing was he had a racist teacher. I don't know if it was right away, but he had the choice to, actually the principal said, do you want to go to another class? And he was like, no, he wanted to stay with his buddies, So, and there was him and Sammy Armstrong that were the only black kids in the class, But the good thing is that they had a music program and they gave him a cello. So that's when he first started playing, and he played 4 hours a day. He was just he just loved music. And then there was a little break where there was no music until 8th grade, and we have to all thank a very astute counselor who saw that he was flunking gym, and Kenny was always bigger than everybody else, And I don't know how 13-year-old boys are in the locker room, but maybe it's not so great. But he just refused to dress out. And so he was just failing. And when Kenny said no, it was just absolutely, he was not budging. So this counselor recognized that and came to him and said, would you like to do band instead? And I'm pretty sure at the time that wasn't a choice, band. You had to do gym. And then you chose orchestra, choir, band, or art. That was how it was for me. So, but anyway, that counselor bent the rules, and he just poured himself into the tuba. So he played 4 hours a day, and then he went on to All-State, and I don't know, he was first or second. I'm not exactly sure what that's all about, but he won a full scholarship to Arkansas Tech, and that's where a lot of the people, yeah. Awesome. Yeah, but a lot of the people that are watching from Arkansas knew him in those days. And in fact, the person that put it all together, Andy Anders, was his tuba teacher in college, and he just sent the word out for everybody. So, except for the health problems, he was like a breeze. And I would say his one sort of Achilles heel in life, or whatever you would call it. But he thought so much about music, he didn't really take care of, he didn't think about his health in a way, or he kept it secret. And then with our healthcare system, there's no way for him to get insurance. He was adjunct here, and thank you, DU, for letting us be here, but he couldn't get insurance, as an adjunct. And it wasn't until 2013, we were in Colorado Springs, that I found out he had diabetes. So that was completely unchecked, I believe, most of his adult life. But we were on the way to the emergency room when I found out. So, there's black people are 4 to 5 times more likely to get kidney disease than white. And my creatinine is checked every year, and his wasn't checked from 2016 to 2021. So, and then it was sort of too late, total catastrophe. But that was the health piece. But I think, really what gave him the love and pouring himself into music maybe came from the hardships of his childhood, and his dad didn't want him to be a musician, so he would leave him to just walk with his tuba to school, sometimes at the last second. And but music is super great therapy. I think most of you probably know that, and that's why you know, poured himself into it. So I guess people ask me all the time, how did you meet him? And it's kind of embarrassing, kind of scandalous maybe, but I think it's kind of funny though. I was living in Colorado Springs where I grew up, and I was playing with Barry Wedgell, some of you know, and he had a gig up here at Sambucas, and Barry says, you gotta check out this bass player down the street, and I don't remember what the club was, but Andy Weil does, what was it? Maybe
Purple Martini.
Purple Martini, okay. Huh? Okay, something. Wasn't it?
Playing with me?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
were.
Bruce Chris.
Bruce
Chris, it's a stupid.
Bruce Chris Steakhouse.
With an apostrophe. What is
Yeah,
it?
that's weird, Bruce Chris. No wonder I didn't remember it. But Andy Weil was playing there, and Kenny, and my friend Susan from CU Boulder college days. She was with me, and I was so touched, so moved by his soloing on the ballads, especially. It was the tenderness and the vulnerability, the sensitivity. So I walked up to him. I mean, I'd had a little wine, but I walked up to him at a break, and I just said, "I want to marry you." Is that scandalous? So, yeah. So you don't have to take any online course about how to make a lasting impression. Just follow my lead. Yeah. But so Kenny, being Kenny, just threw his head back and he laughed, and he gave me his card and I gave him mine. We talked a little bit. And then he was dating Cindy at the time, who actually a few days ago we talked about this, so it's not a secret, but he went home and told her that this woman had asked to marry him. And but I think he promptly lost my card, and then Barry, actually 3 times, Barry got Kenny to sub for Barry on a gig that I was playing in Colorado Springs. I was petrified, and Kenny was hoping to talk to me, I guess, and there were a bazillion friends, and then my mom, who had, she'd had a little stroke, she never came out, my sister, 2 brothers. I mean, so there was no time to talk to Kenny, and then he had to ask Barry for my phone number. So little by little, it took a couple years, but he would call and say he was playing at the Fine Arts Center with Fathead Newman, and he had tickets for me, and then Sheila, who's over here, and my brother. I'd invite them. We'd go together, but he mostly started just calling. He was such an easy person to talk to, and. But so it was about 2001 or 2002, when I think the sextet was coming together. And I remember you guys were playing it in Woodland Park. So if you remember what year that was, that's kind of when it was in the beginning of their phase. Yeah. So little by little, we didn't actually get married for another 20 years, though. We kind of forgot about it. And then if you're wondering why you weren't invited, we did it during COVID over Zoom, and it was like 15 minutes and $30, so. Yeah, and at one point, I had left the room, and the woman from the courthouse, the court, whatever, she goes, "Have you guys ever been married before?" And only Kenny was there, and he calls out to me, "Barb, have you been married before?" So, yeah, and she goes, I can call back when you guys get your story straight, So, yeah, but that's how and when he would come down like Sunday and Monday, when he didn't have a gig, and we'd go fishing in the mountains, and I'd go for a hike, and I'd do little watercolors while he was sitting at the lake, and in Colorado Springs, the lakes are so much closer than here, so we're quite spoiled, It's like 15, 20 minutes to get up there. And so that's what we did. I would come up to Wash Park Grill, like on a Sunday, and that's how I got to know Dave and Rich first. Yeah. And then, so way back. And then later, the sextet at Dazzle. But mostly he came down and we went fishing. And I think the thing that always, got to Kenny I mean, he loved to play music, but the thing that would, get tears rolling down his face is the idea, and I gotta hold it together, of the person that reaches out to you that makes a huge difference in your life, that sees what you can do or encourages you. And because of that, counselor. And I got two cards one was from his last student who came to the house a few times last August. And just their appreciation and how much he affected them. So the first one is from this high school student who is on a service trip in the Bahamas or something right now, but might be watching. And the second one is from somebody who I don't know who studied with him in 20 years ago, 2000 to 2005, from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This one I definitely can't read, so I need somebody with a stiff upper lip to read it. And anybody? I'll see if I can read this one. So this is from Wes Obermeyer, and he heard about Kenny's passing on Kuvo, but he says, even though I only had a few lessons with Ken, his gentle and kind nature is unforgettable. It says a lot about him. Yeah, I don't know if I can get through that.
It's okay.
Anybody else? Just reading. Andrea. Okay, Paul. So it's just right here. And then this one is, you can, thank you. And I'll see you later, but thanks very much for coming.
It says a lot about him that even in his discomfort and disorientation, he was willing to teach me. I remember one time sitting down there, and we were
In the basement.
down there in the basement. And we were watching Cold Duck Time, and Ken would point out all these things happening in the music and admiring the performers, and laugh his love for what was for music was intoxicating. Okay, yeah, all right. I'm so glad he approached me that night at Dazzle, and even though it was for a short time, I love knowing him. Our thoughts and prayers are with you, Weston Obermeyer. And this is from Clay Shaw. I remember Clay, but it's printed. Dear Ms. Ernst, we never met, but I felt important to write to let you know how much I respected, loved, and appreciated Kenny. He was my bass teacher at DU from 2000-2005. Though I first met him at the Telluride Jazz Camp while still in high school, Kenny's reputation for excellence must have preceded him, because I remember how very nervous I was to play for him. I played something called Mr. Man from Oscar Pettiford and Lucky Thompson for him, and I did all right, but boy, was I anxious. And I remember how his smile and quick, easy laugh put me right at ease, made me feel that here was a truly kind and generous person, one who also happened to be a master of this music and his instrument. It was that generosity of spirit, so like the warm, big, happy, swinging sound of his bass playing, that drew me to study with him. Over the next few years that I was close to him, Kenny remained a positive, steady force that I could rely on. His honesty and caring helped guide me through some intense episodes of physical pain, doubt, and depression that caused a great deal of turmoil in my young life. I will always be grateful for his encouragement, his love of music, his stories, and the many laughs we shared in lessons. His steady, even-handed, generous, rigorous style of teaching is something I try to mimic with my own students. His great walking feel is something I think of every single day. It seems odd that I won't ever get to see him play again, to hear those wonderful triplets, and to see Kenny smile. Hoping this finds you well, and wishing you and yours peace, healing, and happiness. Sincerely, Clay Shaw.
Oh, is Andy O here to read your poem? Andy O? Or Art, do you want to say? And then somebody else could read Andy's. Well, it's on the program.
Hi. I just want to share a few small things. First thing that comes to mind is some of us older folks have been talking about how many of our dear friends we keep so-called losing. I've had 3 very close in the same day a few months ago. Yeah, in the same day, believe me. But so what I try to do is, I'm not really good at mourning because I just take them all with me. So as we can see, we all know Kenny's beauty, and we love him. So he's here. He's always playing with me. And I was thinking of all these great players that were close, Teddy Heath, Eddie Marshall, Ron Miles, all these wonderful people who I was lucky enough to know well. I just bring them with me, so they're always in my studio, and they're always, so the ancestors are not gone. I think it's kind of unfair to say he's gone, because Ken Walker can't die. It's just not possible. And he's here, and often I write a piece for a person. I haven't done it yet for Kenny, but because Pete Summer wrote such a great piece for Kenny, I just think that handles it. But that's a way of me handling these things, not lose them. In fact, Eddie Marshall was this amazing drummer. He said, well, I can help you more with my drumming now that I don't have a body and I can just help you play. That's what I think, that please let the ancestors participate with us rather than feel they're gone. The other thing I wanted to share is, so I was playing with Ken a lot when I moved to Denver, to Boulder in '87. And then I was also playing in Little Rock. And when I'd go to Little Rock, I was the person who told all the Little Rock people how Kenny was doing. So I was the reporter. He's playing great, he feels fine, he's happy. And they would like that. And then I said, can I visit his mom? And so the 3 of us went. We spent the whole afternoon in Sweet Home, which is actually the little town where his mom lived, and I think where Ken grew up. And we went. She was such a great person. And then I was able to come back and tell Ken, oh, I spent the whole day with your mom. And so I was kind of like an emissary going back and forth, because I don't know why I was playing in Little Rock quite often at that time. So the other thing about the Benny Golson story, you guys should all know. So when Ken got offered to move to New York and be in Benny Golson's band, we talked quite a few times about it. He said, what an opportunity that would be for me. He said, Art, but I feel so good here. This is my people. This is the people I love and who I love to play with. Is it okay if I don't go? I said, you don't have to go. He said, I already have what I want. So please, all of us musicians, realize that he chose to stay here with us instead of do the important thing for his so-called career. And that it was, I had to say, it's great if you can. We want you to stay. My life is good. Why should I go there? I don't think I'd be that comfortable. I said, you stay with us, baby. So please, all the musicians and people who loved him, know that he chose to not live out that thing in New York. I was born there. It's not that great. So those were the main things. The last thing I want to share is about the record Witness, which was Ron's first kind of Ron Miles' major record. Ron was the kid, and it was me and Kenny and Bruno Carr who were playing together all the time. And if you listen to that record, it's still fantastic. And I wrote a reharm of the tune Witness, and Kenny just ate it up, and I took myself out these new changes so that the piece kind of went some new place. And just if you have a chance, check it out, and then you can hear. Of course, there's tons of wonderful recordings of Kenny. But let's take him with us. Let's not abandon him and feel abandoned. I'm trying to learn that. So thank you. Privilege.
We're gonna get some music going, so you're not just sitting there. And then there's food over there, from the Jerusalem restaurant, and drinks, thanks to Joy Sparks, my teaching buddy from Colorado Springs. So just help yourselves, and there's lots of memorabilia. You can go away with a Kenny hat, or whatever, there's a lot of photos and duplicate photos, so just help yourselves. And we're doing the sextet now, a couple tunes, and yeah.
Oh, wow, got it. Yes.
So you shaking your hand.
So my mother and I got divorced in the last 3 years. So now I'm being able to have a phone conversation in the car on the way to campus. Yeah, it's so good. To have a conversation about what that's like and why that all happened.
Give it up for the KW Sextet. They are going to continue Ken's legacy by playing the last Friday and every month at Dazzle, just as Ken would have wanted it to. So thanks to Matt and the folks at Dazzle for allowing them to continue that legacy. I'm Arturo Gomez, recently retired from Cubo Jazz after 23 years, and I just would like to mention that Cubo will continue playing the music of Ken as a leader and as an accompanist. Plus, we have an archive of live recordings from Ken Walker recorded in the 90s at El Chapultepec, live transmissions from the pen. And we also have a lot of great recordings of Ken as an accompanist and as a leader that he performed at both KUVO's Phyllis St. Greer Performance Studio on Welton and at our new location on Arapahoe. So his music will live on forever.
Barbara's going to come up and play a little tune with her trio here, so hang tight.
Hey, look who's here. All right. Well, it was not easy at first. The first 5, 6 weeks I was going crazy. But then somebody told me to be wise. And I thought it no, I'm super happy now after the first 5 weeks. I managed to rewire and get things for myself. Yeah, you did. Yeah, 30 years that I didn't like to do. So now I'm doing them and I can do it. Honestly, like,
I just heard a very sweet story by John Shippey. He said he met his wife of 30 years, is that right? When Kenny was soloing. I mean, when he met where Kenny was on the gig, but their first kiss was when Kenny was soloing. So, and then you got married. So we're going to play a little tune real fast because Domi has to run. This is something you've never heard. It's a Brazilian tune. Baião de Quatro Toques, the Baião of 4 hits. And I just in memory, I would go to Brazil every couple of years before Kenny got sick and collect Brazilian music, and I'd get 1 volume and he'd tell me, no, you gotta get all 5, and until he found that mother lode, or somehow illegally got that, like hundreds of fake books and everything. But in the beginning I was adding those books to my little backpack, my day bag. So this is in memory of our very long phone calls. This is before WhatsApp, and he was calling me and just hanging on the phone for hours. I was spending $10 a night on the room, and he was spending a lot more than that on the phone call. So, and this is, since you guys are mostly all musicians, this is based on a classical piece that's very well known, and that's all I'll tell them, right? First person to guess what the number is gets a free piece of baklava. Okay. Straight from the table, yeah? Okay. Is the guitar loud enough? Can you hear it? Yeah? More guitar, please. That's what they're saying, more guitar. Okay, we don't have monitors, so just tell us. Okay. Quando bateu no coração, 4 batalhas, depois um bis. Hoje escrever, amanhã não. E a tentação de ser muito feliz. Flores é bom, mas será só de 4 torres. Carregadinho de premonição. Ele não deixa que a vida se desloque. Se quiser fazer com seu coração. Por que tocou, porque tocou, é porque olhe. É onde se não quer sempre se quis. É uma vida sem comida de perdão. Que tem tanto que só tem cor. Da facete, exagitado, ese corazón no va a entender que se vayan, cuatro tontas,
private lesson or something like that. I was teaching public school a couple of years. Okay. And I needed a break. Dude, slang, as always, he's a badass. Alex Outron is he always sounds so great. Yeah, dude, yeah. Did you see he did a Tiny Desk concert?
quatro pancadas e depois unidos, onde escrever uma baianão e a tentação de ser muito feliz. Quando bater coração, quatro pancadas e depois unidos, onde escrever uma baianão e a tentação de ser muito feliz. Por isso vou descer baião de quanto toque, cada dia de hoje pra munição. Ele não deixa que bate você desloque, é que você faz com o seu coração. Pra que tocou, pra que tocou, é pra que longe. E onde assim não quis surpresa aqui. É uma quinta sinfonia de retorno. Quem decantou que só ficou aí. Dá pra sentir exatamente que te abre com seu coração. Agora já dá pra entender que você vai de quatro tontas, sempre não anda cansado desse país de ser assim. Feliz de ser país de ser assim. Feliz de ser país de ser assim. Feliz de ser feliz. Thank you. Someone's up next. I'm not sure. Who's next? Keith and Todd are coming up, and there's a sign-up sheet for the jam session, and I think that's where we're heading. And also, when people have things they want to say too, we're welcoming all speakers and singers, instrument people.
So it says a sound of root, and then it says like 2, 5, 4, 5, 6, and then when there are beats between, there are dots and they come out. So it would be like, it's just learn the voice.
Thanks to Barbara, who helped. I was for 23 years a member of the Five Points Jazz Festival Organizing Committee, the now defunct Five Points Jazz Festival. And I elected Ken Walker to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award. And thanks to Barbara, who helped put together a bio, and we made a great presentation that I had the pleasure of giving the plaque to Ken Walker. Thanks to Barbara, who put the bio together, and to Ken Walker, who really didn't want to receive it, but was urged. That shows the humbleness of the great Ken Walker, that he didn't even want to receive the well-deserved Lifetime Achievement Award for the Five Points Jazz Festival. Thank you, Barbara, for helping them be convinced to accept the award.
Yeah, but you're not.
I think Barbara wanted some music that with Keith and myself, and then we're going to have a jam session. So if you would be interested in playing, I've got a sign-up sheet here. I feel like I'm at Dazzle's again, but it's on 9th and 11th of June, 2006. Anyway, if you would like to play, I've got a sign-up sheet. Just put your name and your instrument. And I think we have about another hour or so while we're here. So if you would be interested in playing, then come put your name on the sheet, and we'll do our best to see if we can rotate some folks in and out, like that.
We did Frankie's in Vancouver, and we did a little.
while we're getting the musicians together, I wanted to just briefly share a story. When Nancy and I moved here in 1992, I had no idea what the musical fabric of Denver was, and so I went out and heard some music one night, and the band was Ron Miles, Fred Hess, Art Landon, Bruno Carr, and I remember leaving that place. It was at the Jazz Works downtown in Lodo, and I remember leaving that place thinking, man, I landed in a good place.
I didn't know she was famous. I thought she was just my friend, just like you. I didn't realize it was famous. And Keith! Sextet. I think he's just got tired. Come on, sell my bag.
You get a bit of an interest.
Person just read like 4 or 5 cards and then
I custom my calls. I guess I gotta make use of it.
improvise after that. It's called Items in the Drawers. Each line is like size. Substance. Mostly
It's fine, I can also look out if I need to. What time is it?
Is this on? Can you hear me? So I'm a friend of Barbara's. I've known her since she was 18, a wild 18-year-old, and I can't tell you those stories. But I was there the night that she met Kenny, and I was so embarrassed. And she said this stranger asked her to marry her. But I just wanted to say they courted, one of the things in their courtship was pies, because Barbara was a pie maker, and Kenny would make sweet potato pies from his mother's recipe. And early on, he made pies for a barbecue restaurant in Denver. Does anybody know what that was? Does anybody remember? But he would be up all night making pies and then do his gigs. So there is some sweet potato pie that's from Alma's original recipe that's here. And Barbara over the years took all of the sugar and the butter out, but these pies contain the full load of Alma's sweet potato pie. So I just wanted to say one thing. I was kind of worried about Barbara as Kenny's life was coming to an end because she doesn't have family here. And they came for a short period of time. But what happened was the jazz community just enfolded her, and all of your love and support just has carried her. So, some sort of family, since I've known her so long, thank you so much for that. And I also just wanted to say to Barbara, and I know there's some other caregivers here, just to acknowledge all that caregivers give, because without what Barbara did for Kenny the last 5 years of his life, the jazz community in Denver would not have had Kenny's music. So when I was listening to the Healing Hymn earlier, I was thinking about how that's really, for all of us, with the losses in our lives, but for all of the caregivers. I know there are others of you here, if you know anybody who is, and that tremendous gift that you all give. So one other thing, there is a lot of food. So please eat more, and there's not a lot of sweet potato pie, but help yourself.
Hood wanted me to read a message from Al. And by the way, Al and Jennifer just happened to be in the area and they just stopped by. Just happened to be in the area. And the motor coach is parked right next door, by the way. You should check it out. It's an amazing vehicle. But here's a message from Al. As you know, Al played in the Ken Walker Sextet for how long? Several years. 20 years. And this is just a memory from Al about playing in the Ken Walker Sextet. One of my strongest memories of Ken is that at the end of each sextet performance, he of course thanked the audience and told them how much the band appreciated their attendance and energy. But he always added that we will never take you for granted. And we strive to give you the best performance each and every time we play. He was wholeheartedly sincere about these comments each and every time as well. I heard him do it hundreds of times. It is a blessing to play for a band leader that has his priorities in the right place. That's from Al Hood to Ken Walker. Just a quick word for me. I've known Ken since around 1990. Was with him at DU for 30 years. We had many, many projects together. And my lasting memory of Ken is really thanks to Barbara. Ken and I were playing a duo gig at Cook Park, and it comes up in these photo memories. But it's, how many of you have seen the photograph of Ken? There's 3 little children, and they're reaching up to the bass, they're reaching up to Ken. And Ken is smiling, and he's showing them the bass. That is a great lasting memory because those children were drawn, as Barbara said, magnetically to Ken. I mean, they literally could not stop from going up to Ken and reaching towards him. And I just thought, you know, that's how I feel about Ken. That's how we feel about Ken. He was a magical being, and he's magical to all of us. So thank you, Ken. Yeah.
Take off. We're going to play a Latin. But Dave asked if I want to do a Latin for Ken. And I got a funny little Latin music story for Ken. But you want to play? Can you stick around? Oh, sure. Yeah. Me and you and Daniel. Okay. I don't know. We could ask Daniel. Just figure out. We could do choo-choo or something. I'm going to play Congo
My brother, boyfriend.
Maybe she went to the bathroom. Oh, there she is. Nobody here.
that was like someone in love. I have one quick Ken Walker story to share with you. I actually have many, but as many of the musicians in here, we knew Kenny for like 40 or close to 40 years. But there's one story that just probably sticks out in my mind, besides the fact that he was just fabulous to play with. He called me one Friday night when the Sextet was going to play at the Old Dazzle on Lincoln Street. And it was 6:30 and they started at 7, and he said, hey Keith, did I call you about a month ago to play this gig? And I said, no, you never said anything. He said, well, Peter can't make it tonight, and I need you to play. I said, Kenny, it's 6:30. And he said, yeah, you got 30 minutes to get here. So I was further than 30 minutes away, and I walk in the middle of their second or third tune of the set. The place is packed, and I have to get up to the bandstand, and I'm sure everybody just thought I was just completely irresponsible. But anyway, I played this set. I never really caught hold of the situation. I was so flustered. So we had a break, and finally I could breathe. And, you know, usually with Kenny, you'd go to his gigs, and if the hit was at 7, he'd start pulling music at 6:58. But this, I didn't even have that. So anyway, I'm flustered. Then we're walking back to the bandstand for the second set. He said, hey, I want to try this piece of music. He hands it to me. I said, Ken, this is in bass clef. He says, yeah, it's in concert key also. So anyway, that was a night I will never forget, and I've reminded him about it so many times over the years. Anyway, dear, dear friend to so many of us, thank you very much.
So we would like to have some other musicians come up and join us. Brian Wilson, can you come up and join us and play some bass? And Andy Weil can maybe play some piano. And Mr. Marlier on the drums, please. And Gizzy, if you want to pull your horn out.
I was enlisted. I didn't sign anything. You're drafted.
Hey, what's happening? Good to see you, man.
Glad to be seeing you in the future.
Oh, yeah.
Gigs. Yeah, I wanted to apologize about that Jones thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because I really didn't give you enough time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no worries. No, I understand. Sometimes I like, I want to get his book.
Yeah, no.
Sorry to get my
I'm sorry, but your name is unfinished. I got for no reason. Come on, man. That's not far apart from you. Anyway,
No, yeah, no worries.
Jonathan, I didn't listen to
Oh, yeah. I just read it a couple days ago. Yeah, with Gonzalo and Peter Stolzman.
Oh, okay.
He's like a real estate but he realizes that it's like for us, so he's very whatever we want. He's super green.
But he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's super nice. So King is like he is getting, he's not getting paid. He's just like, he does like one, he had
Victor, you're up after.
he like couldn't, he like had to relearn how to talk. Yeah. So now he just wants to like play. He's just trying to no. It's cool. He sounds good. Sometimes it's like he doesn't know where we are.
Another stupid thing I missed beginning he said that Peter Stolzman. Anyway, he sent me this Dropbox story. It was transcribed. I told him to send those, and there was no chords. And I did.
Yeah, and Alejandro.
We had a rehearsal with the instruments. And Gonzalo, well, all of us were making So we ended up just Oh, yeah, that's right.
Folks, Barbara said that Kitty liked ballads, and two of the gentlemen on my first CD are in the room, Todd Reed and Rich Charlucci. And Ken was the bass player on that CD. It's entitled, It's a Time for Love. Rich doesn't have his boy with him tonight, so he's not going to join us, but we want to do a little ballad for you. It's entitled, My Foolish Heart.
I know. You, me, and Kenny, the auditions, still 29 years, 30 years.
The night is like a lovely tune. Beware take care. My foolish heart, there's a line between love and fascination. That's hard to see, but an evening such as this, or they both give the very same sensation. When you're lost in the magic of a kiss, your words are much too close to mine. Beware, my foolish heart. Good should our bigger lips combine, then when the fire spark for this time, it isn't passion or a dream that will fall. No, it's love. This time it's love. My foolish heart.
So now it's going to get spicy. We're going to have some Latin music. Eric and Danny Trujillo, and Victor Mestas, and Alejandro, yeah, and Rico. And I'm going to arrange what's coming after that. So.
I was enlisted against my will.
Okay, we're going to get set up real quick for a tune. And I want to tell you my little story in the great big world of Ken Walker. So many of you don't know, I mean, Kenny's played with all the A-list of everybody and everyone in the world, but his pinnacle achievement was playing Latin bass in Eric Trujillo and the Mambo Tet Orchestra. So about 20 years ago, I had a Latin gig with a little sextet that I was doing, and my bass player disappeared, and I needed a bass player about an hour before the gig. And so, you know, at any given time, there's only about 2 guys on the Latin bass gig list at that time anyway. And so the next person I could think of that even played bass was Kenny. And I had known Kenny from just a couple of some jazz gigs early on, and I called up Kenny, who I don't know how much Latin he had played at that time. I said, Kenny, man, this is Eric, I'm in a real bind. I need a bass player. He said, oh, it's a jazz gig, you know, well, you know, he was kind of hesitant. He was like, I wasn't planning on getting out and playing tonight. I said, man, it's actually a Latin gig. He goes, where do I gotta go? Where do I gotta go? And I was shocked. He was all of a sudden so excited and receptive about playing. So Kenny shows up with his big, you know, his bass over his back, you know, bend down to clear the doorway in his rig. And he was so excited about playing a Latin gig. You know, and on the break, we had such a great time. He actually had been working on a bunch of Latin tunes, like real Latin tunes. I mean, you know, we've got our standard stuff that we Latinize, but there was some like real specific deep cuts that we played in that band at that time. He actually knew some Ray Barretto stuff. I was shocked, and he just fit right in. There was this great old conguero, Ray Pacheco on the gig, and you know, some of these serious cats, and I've never seen, Kenny was just so happy to be on the gig, and it just blew my mind every time I was turning around, feeling like I was able to give Kenny a little bit of a gift, and, you know, give him a Latin gig that he was having so much fun playing. And I remember the gig we did was at, it was a fancy place right up near Boulder, and it was a killer spread of Latin Mexican food. And we were sitting on the break eating food, and he goes, yeah, these Latin gigs, you guys eat way better than the jazz cats do. And we just had such a great laugh, and it really humanized Kenny in another way, because I always felt like what I was doing, the music I wanted to play, wasn't good enough or you know, interesting enough. And Kenny was so excited to be there and to do it and just to hold the pocket down, because that's what he does. That's what he did best, is he held the pocket down and he figured out, even if it was a Latin gig, how to do it. And so for a little while, Kenny was part of a really great band that I had for about 5 years called the Mambo Tet. And we laid that to rest a long time ago. But we're about to embark on the return of the Mambo Tet and do some stuff, and we'll be thinking about Kenny as we book gigs and start playing again. So anyway, we're going to play something for you. Yeah. Yeah, he knows his stuff. Kenny knew his Latin stuff. You guys, most of you in the room had no idea Kenny could sit and chat Latin all day long with us. It was pretty cool. So we're going to give you a version of something Latin. Get 'em?
we're just going to finish up since we kind of have a hard stop at 5. So I'm going to have Eric Lilly come up on piano, and Tina's going to come up, and we're going to do Summertime. And Ian is going to stay. And I guess I'll jump on the drums unless Paul wants to come up and play one more.
So I have a really fun Kenny story to tell you guys that I used to tease him about for many, many years. A long time ago, the Denver Art Museum used to have Top of the Week, and every Friday they would have a jazz band. Well, the Today Show came to Denver to do an article on jazz in Denver, and they went to El Chapultepec, and they filmed Paul Warburton and Dale Bruni, and they came to the art museum during our gig, and I was so excited that we were going to be on the Today Show. So it was filmed, and I went home and watched it, and the camera panned across my butt and focused on Kenny's whole being. And so for years, I was teasing Kenny, and I would say, do you remember when the Today Show came to town, and my butt made it on the Today Show, and your whole being made it on the Today Show? And he would just get a smile on his face, and then we would both just crack up. Summertime, everything is easy.
so much for all the musicians that came up and shared their talents. I'm sorry if anybody got overlooked. And of course, thank you to everyone who came out and supported and celebrated the great human that is Ken Walker, right?
Nice lady. Thanks.
Father,